Ever wondered why Meg's dating history keeps getting worse? You might be wondering, how bad can it possibly get? Well, this girl has literally dated criminals and borderline pedos. I've spent many days collecting all the mess I could find about Meg's love life, and let me tell you, she has the worst choice in men. I'll be putting up all her worst relationships, from dating her dad's perverted friend to literally coming onto the family dog. And some of them are so bad that even the trash took itself out. So stay tuned and watch how her relationships progressively get worse.
Nice try, skank.
Worth a shot.
The creepy Neil.
Hi, Meg. You busy Saturday night?
Neil, you ask me out like once a day, and I always give you the same answer. No! God, I don't think I could have been any clearer the last time I turned him down.
Meg's longest and possibly creepiest lover, Neil Goldman, is basically the poster boy of red flags. Neil isn't just awkward. He's the kind of guy who'd stalk you and wear you down until you finally give up. And that is as creepy as it gets. The guy is literally obsessed with Meg, and it's not like Meg gives him any hints. She literally gives him the energy of, don't even breathe near me, and yet Neil keeps simping over her.
Ugh, Neil Goldman is unkissable. Hear that, Neil? I don't like you, and I never will.
Once, Neil even threatened Meg to date him or he'd harm himself. So yeah, blackmail is love language apparently. And let's not forget the time that Neil used his school newspaper to run a column publicly begging Meg to go on a date with him.
Just because we're working together does not mean I have to like you. Give it to me.
What's that?
Give it to me, Neil. Give it to me. Give it to me, Neil.
Yeah, that'll work just fine. Hello, lover.
He basically humiliated her in front of everyone and gave zero shits about it.
Listen, you freak. Tell these people that there's nothing going on between us.
Oh, don't be afraid of the fire, Meg. I won't let you burn.
Ugh.
So, the guy is a jerk and doesn't even know it. That's really the worst kind. This entire relationship was Neil trying to see how far he could go before Meg calls the cops on him. But let's not blame him. The dude always looked creepy. But there's one guy who played Meg while also being a treat to the eyes.
Hi, Luke.
The bad boy Luke. So Meg meets this dreamy guy. He looks at her like she's the only one. Meg falls head over heels for him because, let's be real, the guy is a charmer. And that jawline, it could even cut glass. So I don't blame Meg for following her heart.
God, Meg's involved with a convict.
You do this to me?
But well, this guy was less dream boy, more escaped convict. As it turns out, Luke was basically hiding from the cops. Meg was so desperate for some attention that she decided to help him. I mean, she really had it coming. Things really blew up when the police showed up at her house, and Luke immediately ran for the hills. And well, the guy got arrested.
You're going to jail, punk.
So Meg put everything on the line for Luke, and he didn't even have the decency to stick around. It's peak gaslighting, and I'm just glad he ran away because Meg, she deserves better.
He's all alone in there, and I'm all alone out here. In a way, we're both in prison.
But also, Meg needs to really learn to keep it in her pants, because guys like Luke are a fluke at best. Brian Griffin's pity. After literally everyone on the face of the earth rejects Meg for going on a prom date, she loses her shit and starts freaking out. That's when Brian Griffin steps up and goes on a pity date with her to the prom. But things quickly derail when Meg sees his kindness as love and starts making moves at him.
You're acting like a psycho bitch.
Okay, this got too real too fast. Meg, the guy's literally a dog.
Meg, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend.
We're not boyfriend and girlfriend.
I will never be attracted to you.
I will never be attracted to you.
The night literally spirals out of control when Meg becomes obsessed with Brian. And when he doesn't show much interest in her, she kidnaps him, ties him to a bed, and confesses her love. And spoiler alert, it gets worse than this.
Brian, you're acting weird.
Oh, come on, that one doesn't even have an H in it.
Meg's intention is to rape Brian. So he could be with her, and she doesn't really give a shit about how he feels. But let's not blame Meg, because if you only get creeps and weirdos in your love life, even you'd start having these sinister thoughts. Although this heartbreak is nothing in front of the one you're about to hear, I feel sorry for Meg at this point. Kent the Heartbreaker. Meg approaches her mate Kent on Valentine's Day, and they instantly hit it off. He's a dreamy guy who for once isn't repulsed by her. What could go wrong? Well, everything.
I think she's choking. Should we wake her up?
No, she's got to learn to breathe out of her nose.
After a few flirtations, Meg hopes to finally hook up with the guy. But then suddenly Kent drops the truth bomb. He's not into Meg because
I'm gay.
You are?
he's gay. But that's not even the worst part. He has a crush on Chris, Meg's brother,
The person I'm attracted to is your brother.
and even asks Meg to set the two of them up.
I mean, if I can't have Kent, then that's the next best thing. I've just got to get Chris to sleep with him.
If there's something worse than rejection, it's rejection paired with a disgusting sibling love triangle. This wasn't even a fully fledged relationship, and yet this damaged Meg in the worst possible way.
I guess I wasn't thinking straight. I'm just glad I stopped before I did a really terrible thing.
Watching her recover from this revelation wasn't easy because the girl is a whiner, and that's why our next guy was so pissed at her. The popular Craig.
Oh my god, he is so gorgeous.
Craig Hoffman was basically the most popular guy in school.
There's Craig Hoffman. Oh, he's such a rebel.
And for one split second, he showed some interest in Meg. And that was also because she got a whole ass makeover.
Wow, great job getting hot, Meg.
Gee, thanks.
Now, if you know Meg, you know she's desperate for some validation. Well, our guy Craig doesn't know it, and now he's stuck.
I'm here to pick you up.
Meg is once again obsessed with him, without knowing that he's a grade A douchebag. He has some fun with Meg, and after a little fling, he does something Meg didn't see coming. Craig makes fun of Meg in public and calls her desperate and also weird in front of the entire school. It once again breaks Meg's heart because she didn't see the red flags that were obvious all along. Meg soon realizes that Craig was only using her for his entertainment, and he has no real interest in her. If I was Meg, I would have gotten out the pepper spray and just sprayed the guy to hell. But let's just move on to our next jerk. The creepy Quagmire. We have got to talk about Glenn Quagmire because he was probably the worst decision of Meg. Quagmire was a middle-aged pilot with a questionable moral compass and a lusty personality. The guy was known for being the resident creep in Quahog, but the moment he set eyes on Meg, it went from creepy to illegal.
I'll be out in a minute.
I really need to go.
She said she'll be out in a minute.
Things get really uncomfortable when Meg celebrates her 18th birthday. That's right, the literal day she became an adult. Quagmire put her on his radar.
What was your favorite class?
Okay, let's say it at the same time and see if they're the same. Okay, 1, 2, 3. History, math. Oh my god, we have so much in common.
Now keep in mind, this guy is at least in his 40s, and it isn't even uncomfortable, but predatory at this point.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It's too much, too much.
Initially, Meg felt flattered by Quagmire's attention, given how every other guy she's dated turned out to be an ass. But It's pretty clear from the get-go Quagmire isn't so into Meg. He's not finding a soulmate or isn't going on picnics with her.
Hi, Glenn. Bye, you guys. Me and Glenn are going out.
What? Like hell you are!
Don't worry, Dad. I'll take care of him. Stay away from my sis.
Okay, you two have fun on your date.
What?
Quagmire is only there to get laid, and because Meg just became legal, if that's not a giant shouting red flag, then I don't know what is. And this isn't even the worst part. Quagmire is so shameless that he doesn't even try to hide his true colors. He openly flirts with Meg in front of her family and even takes her out on a date. Yeah, an 18-year-old girl going out with a 40-something-year-old man? The discomfort in the air is thick.
Hey, you want to blow this joint?
Sure.
Oh, wow, really? All right, go for it.
Come on, let's go.
But what really horrified me was when Quagmire described his interest in her as biding his time. It almost sounds as if he was just waiting for the clock to tick and for her to turn 18 so he could just pounce on her. Fortunately, Peter Griffin, Meg's otherwise clueless father, notices the entire shebang and decides to put an end to it. It is probably the only time the guy acted like a responsible parent, and thank God that he did. While Peter's intervention scared off Quagmire, the damage was already done, and as usual, Meg was confused and a little sad. And by the time this episode ended, I felt so icky that I needed a shower just to get the Quagmire's evil off me. But then I saw the next guy, and all that just went to waste. Anthony the nudist. So this next guy is Anthony, who seems like a nice guy on paper. He's charming, he's nice to Meg, and even seems to genuinely like her. So what's the catch? Well, nothing major, just that he's a nudist.
Holy moly, it must be my birthday.
Now, it's probably not a big deal breaker for Meg, considering how she has been with worse in her relationships. Things really hit the roof when Meg agrees to meet Anthony's parents, and suddenly, she's surrounded by a bunch of nude Karens. And all this while, Anthony is acting like it's not even a big deal. Meg gets so mortified and embarrassed, but does try to roll it off. However, things get a little out of control when Peter doesn't quite approve of their match and feels downright icky about it. Anthony, who was supposed to be a nice guy, but Peter really messed up big time on this one by treating the guy like shit.
Oh, just step on these coasters on your way out. There we go. Yeah, don't step on the hot lava. The carpet is hot lava.
Meg couldn't keep going on like this and was once again left humiliated. I just feel like Meg is just some kind of magnet for all things creepy because the next dude is really pushing the lines. Adam the mayor. I can't really forget about the time when Meg decided to date Adam West, the borderline deranged mayor of Quahog. Their relationship starts with the mayor hiring Meg as his intern.
Congratulations, you're hired. Your first job is to go down to the corner and tell that hobo I admire his spirit.
At first, everything seems pretty professional, or as professional as it can be with the Mayor West. But things go downhill when he starts acting a little too friendly with Meg.
No, it's just some fat hooker.
Oh my God, it's Meg! What? Meg and Adam West? Ew!
Oh, sorry.
The guy literally gifts her an engagement ring made out of cat hair. Yeah, that is pretty weird. And if that's not a sign of a serial killer, I don't know what is. I mean, the guy is completely deranged, always talking about the mole people for some reason. So I'm just glad Meg didn't fall for him. Their relationship wasn't really a relationship per se. It was more like Meg getting thrown into someone else's mess. She did feel super confused and sad at the end of the day, but by now she should be used to it. The veteran Kevin. The next mess that Meg gets herself into is with the war veteran Kevin Swanson. It starts on a pretty good note, with Kevin being kind, supportive, and super into Meg.
I spent 5 years in a Kuwait military hospital. I woke up from the coma last week, and I flew straight here. Kind of a Thanksgiving surprise.
Hey, when you get sexually abused while you're in a coma, do you know it's happening and just can't do anything about it? Or do you not even know what's going on?
I also am curious about that.
But this was only until his PTSD and unresolved anger issues took over.
Fine, here's the truth. I was never in any coma, okay? I bailed. I faked my death and went AWOL.
Me?
He starts acting up, overreacting to small little things, while Meg tries to be nothing but supportive. But the worst moment comes when Kevin snaps during a family dinner and accuses Meg of not respecting his sacrifices. He literally storms out, and this was Meg's hint to run for the hills.
We don't have to sit here and listen to this. Come on, Kevin, let's get out of here.
What the hell is going on up there?
She does try to fix the guy, but he has too many problems, and the relationship ends just as quickly as it started. But it really makes Meg doubt herself. Kevin never really accepts his own mistakes and gaslights Meg into believing she's wrong.
That man's an imposter. I'm the real Kevin Swanson.
Guys, I don't think we have time for this.
But at least Kevin didn't turn Meg into a lesbian, because the next person did. The lesbian Sarah. So you get it now. Meg's dating history is a train wreck. But let's not forget that phase in her dating history. The one where she decides to dip her toes into the lady pond.
Oh my God!
Now on paper, this should have been a refreshing change for Meg. Maybe a chance for her to find love, because boys clearly didn't dig her vibe. And after her track record, how bad could it get? Right? Wrong. Meg managed to make even this a mess.
You can't be serious. We had a whole party planned for you. Really? A party? For me?
But I guess if you're not a lesbian...
Wait. You didn't let me finish. I'm not a lesbian. I'm a super huge mega lesbian.
It all started when Meg decided to go to the Lesbian Alliance Club in her school and meet a girl named Sarah. But Sarah thought this was more than just a friendship. Meg was obviously going through her rebellious phase. She chopped off her hair and literally started looking like a boy.
Mom, Dad, I am a lesbian.
Now, Sarah was under the impression that Meg was actually gay. But here's the kicker. Meg wasn't remotely into Sarah. Nope, not even a little bit. She was just riding the wave that someone was finally giving her the validation that she always wanted. To the point that Meg even starts reading naked magazines just to fit in with her lesbian friends. But as soon as she realizes that it's going to take more than just reading magazines to be accepted as a lesbian, it really pushes her to the edge. So she decides to finally confess, but well, it's too late. Sarah already starts thinking that Meg loves her, and while Meg was opening up her heart, Sarah was opening up her dress. Although Meg apologized and everything, she did play Sarah and broke her heart. I mean, I can't blame Meg, once again, because she never felt accepted, and for once, the lesbians were treating her nicely, so she just caved. But this might not be the worst day in her relationship history, because the next one is painful with a capital P. The kidney stealer, Toby. It's Valentine's Day, and Meg finally pushes a guy into taking her on a date. Yeah, Meg actually manages to land a date for the evening, and true to her luck, it ends in the most Meg way possible.
Wow, Meg, you look nice. You got a date?
Yeah, I totally hit it off with this great guy on the internet, and we're finally gonna meet.
So it starts with Meg meeting Toby online, and in the beginning, it seems like this might actually go right for her.
Oh my God, that's him!
Toby seems polite, charming, and the two have so much in common.
Hi! Wow, you look just like your picture.
You don't look anything like yours.
Yeah, that's a candid from a summer job I had.
Well, you're much prettier in person. Shall we go?
Yeah, sure. Don't wait up, boys.
Then Meg goes on a date with him, and let's be honest, the guy is quite a sweet talker because instantly makes Meg fall for him. After all, it's a real date with a real boy that really seems to like her. Toby takes Meg to the sports bar where they are talking about their interests in Coldplay. The evening seems pretty magical and they toast to the night, but then things start blurring. The next morning, Meg wakes up in a dingy motel bathtub filled with ice, confused and in pain. Meg tries to find Toby and realizes that she's got stitches. Yep, turns out Toby's ideal one-night stand included organ theft.
Toby, I can't believe you took my kidney! You bastard!
Even after losing one kidney, Meg isn't satisfied and tries to talk Toby into spending the entire day with her. And, well, he agrees to. So the two enjoy some ice cream, ice skating, and Chinese takeout. But by the end of the day, Toby brings Meg home and, in a surprising turn of events,
Here.
For me? My kidney!
he actually returns the kidney.
Oh, Toby, I love it! Thank you! Oh, this has been the best Valentine's Day ever.
This was kind of him, but I'm still counting it as the worst relationship because she got a permanent scar from it. So, which relationship traumatized Meg the most? Let me know in the comments. Also, press that subscribe button. Don't make me beg like Meg did. I'll see you in the next video being all nosy in someone else's relationship.